Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast. Here is your host.
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Rick Bucher. You can read my stuff on Bleacher Report and at Rick Bucher on Twitter. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. And my guest today is none other than the great former, I don't know if we say former because there's still like rumors that he could come back at any minute, Chris Kaman. You know him from the Clippers, from the Blazers. You know him from his adventures.
The unfortunate Lakers.
The Lakers. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, the unfortunate Lakers and the unfortunate Hornets.
There you go. So I did a couple of stories with Chris, and we texted back and forth a little bit ago, and I wanted to catch up with him because I've always been fascinated by all the things that you're fascinated by. And then I walked into the Blazers locker room the other day, and it was really bright. And I said to Myers Leonard, I go, dude, it's really bright in here. What's up with this? And he goes, oh, that's the Chris Kaman told us that if we came in from the bright lights of the court and we came into a dimmer locker room, that our energy level would dissipate. And so that's why we have bright lights.
More scientific than that. It's a little more scientific than that. I said it's a little more scientific than that. It's not just me throwing that out there.
Well, please explain, because I knew that there was more to it than you just said.
You ever go into like the old gyms and they're like almost like orange yellow colored, and it just seems like really like depressing a little bit. And so there's something to be said about sunlight. I mean, the sun gives off a crazy amount of lumens, and you are outside, you know, and you're getting those, and then you go inside and everything's just like down, and it's even tough, especially in the Pacific Northwest, because it's so gloomy a lot, and there's a high suicide rate, low amounts of sunshine, a lot of gray skies and rain. And so that's just overall, I mean, not to get too far into, but it decreases your serotonin levels, increases your melatonin levels, and those are obviously sleep-wake cycle hormones. And basically, if we could brighten the lumens in the arena, and brighten the lumens, like you go into the arena, there's a requirement. I don't know if you noticed, there's a requirement in the arenas of how bright it has to be. They have people that test the lights, and they have to be a certain amount of lumens in order for it to be like a legit, you know, arena environment. Now, yeah, you can't, you know, granted, sometimes you're going to go play in different countries and cities where there's these dungeons you're playing in, but for the most part, NBA arenas have to have a certain amount of lumens. And you can check on that if you want. And then, so you go from those, you go into the locker room, they got this yellow-orange light that's decreasing your serotonin and increasing your melatonin, which is this, like I said, the sleep-wake deal. So you get in the locker room and you almost are the lights are essentially putting you to sleep a little bit.
Right. And
then you go back on the court and it's like, boom, you got to wake up. And we, as the NBA, if you look, teams have, you know, their third quarters are pretty tough. And then it takes you by a few minutes, you know, 30 minutes to adjust to that new light you're experiencing in the arena that's brighter. And then you kind of get like a little snap out of it, and you see teams just start to, you know, come around and improve. And the fourth quarters are always, you see these big runs and these different things that happen. And some teams are really good at third quarters and some teams aren't. And that's just a little bit of an edge potentially for a team to have. So when I was there, I, you know, did a lot of research in that and amongst other things. But basically, to come into the locker room to have it the same effectiveness as it is on the court is what we try to, at that time, what I tried to assimilate in the locker room. So there you go.
So who was it that you introduced that idea to, and that because they obviously they took you up on it?
Well, yeah, I mean, we did it in the practice facility as well. If you go in there ever, you notice the lights. There's big square lights up in the ceiling. We added in all those when I was there, and it was. I mean, I'm not going to say I was directly responsible for it, but I initiated the conversations with a friend of mine and the at the time athletic director, Chris Stackpole, who's no longer with the team. He was the team's medical director or whatever. He was in charge of basically everybody from trainers to strength coaches. And so me and him were close, and we just communicated with him a lot about it and showed him some articles and some related science behind it. And he kind of picked it up, and we swapped all the lights out in the locker room and in the practice facility, locker room and court area.
That's good stuff. By the way, we normally do. I do a thing as a warm up.
I think 6 people that listen to your show, all 6 people that listen to your show will be like, 3 of them won't even care, and then 2 of them will be like, oh, it's interesting, and then 1 of them will actually look it up. So
yeah, but I think we're going to develop a whole new audience of scientists and sleep deficiency people.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but honestly, on the serious note, the NBA is tough with, the 82-game schedule, the back-to-backs, the preseasons, the playoffs. So it's hard enough to travel and to switch time zones. And, there's just people don't always realize that. Like, oh, we're just going to go in the city and play, and this is going to be easy, Well, these teams are all trying to – if you're a really good team in the playoff chase, teams they want your number. They want to knock you down. So every night you got to be ready, and your body has to be ready too. You can't just do it, mentally. It has to be physically too. So there's a lot of, sleeping arrangements that are difficult at times. And I'm not complaining about anything, because I was blessed to be able to do what I did. And as are all those guys, and I think they all realize that. But at the same time, there is a physical and mental component to the whole big picture. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
So before we leave the whole lighting thing, the Staples Center is well known. The Lakers are well known for their theater seating and their lighting. Did that have any hand in when you talk about the tragic? No,
that was actually. No, they were there. They were there before we did that, but I think they did that more, not necessarily as trying to improve anything with the players. I think that was more of like to make it more like a show versus like an arena. Hockey people don't care, but the basketball is more like famous people, and there's just more to the Hollywood theme. So I think they try to make that just like a stage everybody's looking at in front of you, and then everything's dark. The light, the arena is dark, and the stage is lit up, to showcase what's out there.
Right.
Versus, improving the players deal.
Yeah, I didn't know whether that was that had an influence on the whole concept.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, after all the years, at first it was like my first couple of years, I was like, man, there's a lot of people here. But after a while, it's just like a job, and you're just trying to do the best you can with it. You don't really always notice it when the game pace is going on so fast. But then, maybe a foul or free throws or a timeout, you look around a little bit and like, man, there's, this place is filled up pretty good.
Right.
So there are times when you do notice it, but for the most part, you're just so focused, you just don't even really pay much attention to it.
So one of the things we do on the show is we explore what's behind people's middle names. Christopher Zane.
Ooh.
Where did Zane? That's a rather unique name, period. Where did it come from?
My dad's uncle's name is Virgil Zane, and then my dad's name is Leroy. Yeah, and then my dad, who just passed a few years ago, his name is Leroy Zane. And then I got Christopher Zane. My brother's kid is Wesley Zane. My sister's kid is Carter Zane. And I just felt like they screwed me over before. They had kids before I did, so I couldn't even use it, and it's actually my middle name. So I didn't name my kids that at all, but...
Have you gotten over that resentment yet?
And it might go from, I don't know where they got it. It might come from before that, but I don't really have that information other than my great uncle had it.
Right.
So
now, also you have dual citizenship. You explored your German heritage and ended up playing for the German national team. So, but with the dual nationalship, like, you get any perks on that? Discounted Wiener Schnitzel or like a reserve table at Oktoberfest?
Yeah, the Steins are free when I go. No, there's nothing. Honestly, it was something I did at the time when I was playing. It was tough going, and USA is pretty competitive roster from then all the way on to now, and they've taken it even more serious in the last 8 years. But I just wanted a chance to play in summer and have some activity, and that was kind of my avenue. And I had my grandparents were both from Germany, so it just worked out to where I had enough proof that they were there when they were there, and I could get a passport and help out. And it was just a fun experience for me for about 3 or 4 years. And kind of, other than that, I haven't really used it. And my passport actually just expired in 2018.
So to that end, I should have made part of your introduction that you're also the star of the now defunct Exploring Caveman. What happened to the YouTube show? That was I of all the things, I couldn't wait for you to retire so that you would go and do the things that I knew or I anticipated you were going to do, and then we'd hear about it. Or I wanted to at some point come out there and join you in the wilds of Michigan just to see you in your what I consider your natural habitat.
Yeah, don't overthink it. It's not like the wild, like we're in Alaska somewhere. I mean, I have neighbors and all that. I just, I just wanted to be
they're
a
like
little
20,
bit.
30 miles away, right? You don't have. You're. I mean, you're
no. I could throw a stone at my neighbor's house if I wanted to, and I actually do want to sometimes. But honestly, Rick, you play so long and you put so much effort in, and so much physical drainage comes on your body. And so by the time, 13 years is done, practices, games, summer workouts, you give yourself to the craft for that long. And then when the time comes, you're just ready to you need a break, you need to be done. So I just really didn't want to talk to anybody for almost a year. I went to a couple Blazer games. Other than that, I just stayed low key. We have a small farm. I have all the animals and everything. And we just do some small side stuff, businesses here and there. I own a couple of fast food restaurants.
So where are you exactly? Where's home now?
Just north of Grand Rapids a little bit.
Okay, all right. So you did go back to Michigan.
So I grew up in Grand Rapids. Yeah, I live a little bit north of Grand Rapids. We live on a lake and nice little quiet little area, and we like it. It works. Yeah. So
when you look at you and I, we did a thing about your brain training. I think you were with the Clippers at the time. You were still single because you were just kind of blowing up your house. I remember that.
I don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
No, you guys used to have like pellet gun contests inside. What I'm giving away. I wrote about all this. I don't know if you ever saw the story. I wrote about.
No, we did. I'll give you that. We had airsoft battles in the house, and we got a little wild. Yeah, I was young and inexperienced in a lot of areas, and figuring out life, man.
No kidding. But you did brain training, and I know at one point you were very into diet and eating specific things to supply your body. How much of that stuff are you still interested in? Do you utilize any of it now in retirement?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the whole thing why we started this farm, because there's just not a lot of good options out there where I'm at right now. Where we live is far enough north to where about an hour north where it's not conducive to drive that far just to get groceries. So we have a grocery store, but their options are pretty limited. And so I wanted to be able to have the protein that I need, the vegetables that I need. So I grow it myself. I mean, I grow all organic soils, everything. I'm really into all conscious of the things I'm putting in my body, really. And then still the same with my brain stuff, is I still take part in that. Not the same level I did when I was playing, because now I get to relax a little bit more, and I don't have to have that high pace always going on all the time and always having to stay ready for every second of the day. But it's a little slower now. I have kids, and kind of just I guess sounds a little weird, but a stay-at-home dad in a sense. My wife doesn't work either, but I don't really have to work if I don't really want to. After playing those years, I was blessed to be able to save enough money to really kind of live the rest of my life if I wanted to, just in a freaking chair. But I try to stay active. I still play basketball a little bit. I play some 3-on-3s in the summer, and but we're really just kind of focused on this farm and staying around our house and raising our kids really right now. So they're 4, 2, and we just had a baby boy 2 months ago. So we're kind of in the thick of it with that. There isn't a lot of extra time to do much else. So
congratulations on the new.
Yeah, I do some hunting and things like that, but it's here and there. 5 days here, 7 days there, and then I'm home. So I just try to balance it all out. And man, I'll tell you what, all the years playing basketball, you get so stuck in this rut and this routine. Practices, games, travel, pregame, shoot-arounds, films, food, all the stuff that goes with it. And when you're done playing, you're like, man, you're lonely, for, at least 6 months, 7 months, even a year, you just don't have the companionship as far as with your teammates, the camaraderie, the locker room stuff, the bond. You lose that. So you're grasping at things, trying to find that again, and it's just something you got to let go of, and you got to learn how to let go of it. It's not like I'm depressed, but there is a little component of it that is difficult, to kind of move past. And so it took me a while to get past that. For the first year, I didn't really want to do anything, talk to anybody. I was having trouble with my body, trying to, seemed like when I play, everything was fine. And then when I stopped playing, all of a sudden everything just came like a big swarm, just slammed over me, and I was sore all the time until
really
kind of worked through that. It was interesting. Like when I don't play and don't work out, I feel it more sore than when I did, because your body's in such good shape all the time. You're stretching, you're lifting, you're running, you're shooting, you're just trying to take care of yourself. So there's some weird things that, you just can't plan, that just happen when you're done, and no one tells you how to retire. There's no programs for it like there is for everything else. The NBA wants to have everything PC, and they want to make sure that, they cross all their T's and dotted all their I's, that they look good. But at the end of the day, they don't care about, helping the players finish their careers and retire. That's not, the Players Association does a good job of that, but the NBA doesn't help guys do any of that stuff. They just want to look good for a face, kind of like the whole Ray Rice thing. Oh, now we have to have domestic violence meetings. It's just they want to cover their tracks. So people don't realize that, but it's a lot you learn over the course of the 13 years. So
I would think that you also miss the structure, not only just the work keeping your body together and the companionship of a team, but also your days, I don't know, to a certain extent, is kind of planned out.
We could talk about this, Rick. We could talk about this stuff even more, but the reality of the whole situation is just that they're paying these players millions of dollars. So when you're done, they're not paying you anything. So they're going to go just like you would with your investment. Let's say you invest, $500,000, $1 million, whatever it is, into something. You're going to focus on that and pay attention to it and keep track of it. Well, once you leave, they're not listening to you at all. They don't. Not that they don't care about you, but they care about the assets that they have in play that are going to make them money, or that are going to turn a profit, or are going to, make them a championship, whatever it may be. That's what they care about. And it's not that they they wish you bad luck or any of that kind of stuff, because I thought the teams that I played for the most part, did a great job, especially the Blazers. They do an exceptional job, head and shoulders above everybody else except maybe Dallas. But everybody thinks of the Lakers as a storied franchise. Well, they didn't do a good job even really taking care of the players. I mean, Kobe got the treatment, Pau did, but everybody else just kind of goes with it, and they're not what everybody thinks they are. All these teams. There's some really good ones. The Blazers were unbelievable. I'd have loved a chance to play for the Blazers again back then. But there's this whole day structure, like you said, where things go this way and this way, and then it's kind of like when you're done, like I said, you're like, well, what do I do now? Where do I go? What you mean I don't have to run lines right now? I don't have to work out. I don't have to go shoot. I don't have to watch film. Thank God I don't have to watch film ever again, because I lose my mind if I had to watch another minute of film. It's just, to be good at your craft, that's what you need to do. And I told myself when I went in the NBA when I was 21, listen, this is what you're going to do to yourself, Chris. You're going to be the best player you can be. Now, I wasn't no superstar. I made an all-star game once, and I did all right for myself, but I wasn't a superstar. I was solid, but I wasn't a superstar. And so, I said, I'm going to be the best player I can be. I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to run. I'm going to lift. I'm going to do everything I need to do, diet, everything. I need to, whatever it is. And so I committed myself to that for 13 years. And, it wore me down. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It wore me down. There wasn't anything. I loved and enjoyed all of it, but I was happy to be done at the same time.
Yeah. Played 12 years, All-Star in 2000.
13 years. 13 years.
13. What did I say, 12?
Buddy.
13
You said 12, yeah. Unfortunately, you did. There always one. I should be 12, because the year with the Hornets, I should have just scratched that one right off the books and just called it 12. Probably right.
Why? No. Why that? Why that one?
Well, I got traded for Chris Paul. It's a long story. I got traded for Chris Paul. Go from Los Angeles for 8 years, where I have a boat and $4 million house and all this cool stuff that everybody thinks it's cool to live in LA and all this stuff. And then I go to freaking New Orleans. I'm living in a hotel. Then I find after a month, I find a house to rent, just a dump. Go rent that. And then it's the shortened season. So we got, back to back, coached by Monty Williams. It's like a drill sergeant. Good, really good guy. Good man. Awesome Christian guy. I really, respected him. But as a coach, he was tough. Just demanded a lot. Pat Riley status, just run you into the ground, 3-hour practices, just not the way, it works to have 82 games. Anyways, 66 game season, shortened season, living in New Orleans, places just after Katrina, hit a few years after that. They just cleaned things up slow. I don't know, there was just a lot to it. And then I had 2 dogs and we got traded. I had all my stuff in LA. And then, then I got in an argument with the coach. I wasn't playing. Then everybody got hurt. Then they told me to leave the team. Then I came back. They're like, oh, we want you to come back now. Everybody was hurt, so they forced me to come back. Then I had to end up playing the last 30-something games with 35 minutes a game. And it was bad. The whole scenario was bad. I just really just loved to just wipe the slate of that one. But a learning experience nonetheless.
Yeah, and I was going to say, so that's probably the low point. What was the high point? What was the best part of your 13 years?
I like playing for the Clippers. I didn't, Donald Sterling, he was an interesting guy. I didn't really have any issues with him. He was definitely, I would just say he was just a selfish person. It was just about him. But I don't know about the whole racist thing and all that stuff. Obviously, there were some comments made. That whole thing baffles me, how someone something that you own can just say, okay, just basically eminent domain, we're forcing you to sell this. I don't even get that. I don't know the whole story, but that just blows my mind that he owned the team for so long and they're able just to take it away because he was a racist. Or I guess, I don't know. It's just kind of, Steve Ballmer paid a lot of money for the team and seems like a nice enough guy. No problems with the guy. I don't really know him, but it just doesn't make sense to me that someone can just take something that you own and just force you to sell. I don't get that, but maybe it's in the charter. I don't know. But that was kind of crazy. But they took good care of you later on, as they got later on. But early on, it was pretty tough. We didn't have a practice facility. We were sharing places with a community college. There was just a lot there.
I remember going to see you guys practice at a fitness center.
It was in Manhattan Beach. What's it called?
I don't know. It was 24-hour fitness.
A tiny little locker room.
Was it the
one right there off Rosecrans?
It was something like that.
No, it's a different one.
But it was one of those. It was a chain. It was a chain for sure.
It was basically you'd walk out through the doors of the court, and you'd look at people working, doing yoga, Pilates. That's where we were at. Our locker room was the size of an office, a small office of an individual with drawers. Each person had one little drawer, and you could shove your stuff in there.
Right.
I mean, our training room was upstairs in this loft. It was bad. I mean, they were just waiting to build that facility they have now, that beautiful place they have now. But it was bad, man. That was bad. Early, there was bad times. There was good times though. I liked Coach Dunleavy a lot. I had a lot of respect for him. We had a good relationship. But the best time I had was the Blazers. The Mavericks, me and Coach Carlisle just didn't see eye to eye on things. He's a great coach. We got a lot of respect for him too, but it just didn't work out, I guess, with me and Dirk on the court at the same time. There's a little lack of defense there. So well, that's why they wouldn't play. That was a big thing. So that didn't work out great, but they did a good job taking care of their players. They're a great place. And then the best scenario for me was the Blazers. It was like a real family. It was Neil O'Shea did a really, really good job of getting the right players in there to keep the chemistry where it was at. And the first year there we were good, and the second year there we were good. The second year, we had a lot of young guys, and Damian Lillard and CJ are just that combo is probably pretty close to unbeatable for a 1-2 in this league.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in Portland. In fact, I'm doing a radio hit up there not long after we record this, and I'm sure they're going to ask me about refiguring the team because it hasn't gone to the conference finals or whatever.
Okay, I know, but that whole thing is a little crazy to me. What do you want to do? The Warriors have 4 Hall of Famers on their team, and maybe even 5, and 4 or 5 All-Stars. I mean, what do you want to do? Yeah. People don't want to live in Portland for the most part. Some people do, but most players don't want to go there. For one, the travel is a nightmare. It's the farthest city away from everything else. They always have the most miles logged on their flights every year. The weather's not great. The fans are unbelievable. Just the best fans I ever was a part of. Fans were good. The organization's unbelievable. They take really good care of players. I'm not sure how that will go as of the passing of Mr. Allen. I don't know where that's going to go or what's going to happen to the team. I don't know how that whole deal went down. But, I mean, honestly, I guess I don't know. If you're trying to make money as a business, you look at it that way, or you're trying to win and be successful. I don't know which angle you take, but I've never understood how these guys are like, yep, we want to lose. What kind of person are you in your mind that says, you know what? I want to lose. You're a loser. That's what you are. When you say that, when you want to go that direction, I don't care if you are 9th, 10th place. You should just want to win. That's why that people don't ever win, that force themselves to lose. You're never going to see. There's a smart way to do it. I get it. The draft and how the whole lottery works. But man, have some pride and be like, we want to win. I don't care what it takes. Your fans will have a lot more respect for you. I know that. And that's what they did my second year. They're like, we're going to play our young guys. We don't think we're going to be that good. Well, they got surprised by everybody. We made the playoffs.
Yep.
And we beat the Clippers, the injured Clippers. We beat in the first round, lost the Warriors in the second round. But, I mean, who is really going to beat the Warriors?
as of right now.
Is everybody playing for second and third place? That's what I'm saying. Like, so should everybody just tank? Let the Warriors just walk through everybody like they're going to do anyways? I don't know. I don't get that whole, we got to rethink things because we're not going to win. Well, the problem is you can't get players to go to Portland. If you do, you got to overpay them. And then you got to be able to make sure they have good chemistry because that's what it's all about up there. That's why these teams are so good. Yeah. They have chemistry that beats everybody else. So I don't know. I just hate when people say not that it was your view, but that's what they're saying. But I just hate when people say that. It blows my mind to say, oh yeah, we want to lose. Yeah, we want to get that pick. We want to lose. If you lose, it's part of losing, but don't try to lose.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I believe that there's a mindset that's built in when you introduce that to a team that's really hard to erase, that it's okay to lose, that we're losing for it's a purpose, for a bigger purpose.
Yeah. And I think too, Rick, a big thing is like the Sixers. Well, they've lost for so long, they don't know how to win. It took them 5 years or 3 to 5 years just to figure out just how to win even the games. Now the playoffs are a whole nother monster.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to face teams who know how to win year in and year out, and they're not going to know what to do. So that's what happens when you put yourself like, we want to lose and get picks. Well, good job. You just did that you're going to be on a 10-year drought. Yep. I mean, it's going to take you, 8 to 10 years to get back where you want to go. If you're playing the long game, great. But how many general managers last 8 to 10 years? How many coaches last 8 to 10 years? Your plans are stupid because you just put yourself in a position where you're not even going to have a job in 8 to 10 years, and someone else is going to take over and reap the benefits.
Well, and it's an 8 to 10 year potential, and still there's no guarantee because so much changes over those 8 to 10 years. I mean, honestly, you look at where they are right now. They have some talent, but you look at the East, you got the Raptors sitting there, you got the Celtics sitting there. They still don't have, there's no guarantee that they're ever going to see the finals. And I know there are fans that are like, well, we got Joel Embiid. We have hope. We didn't have hope before.
I know. Well, Joel Embiid's, an injury away from, not playing back-to-backs again or whatever, I mean, he has proven himself. He's a beast. Like, I don't want everybody to think that I don't think that. He, to me, is the best, most dominant center since Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, as far as I don't see anybody who can guard him one-on-one.
Yeah,
there's not too many players like that. I mean, Cousins a little bit, but if Cousins would put his mind to it and just do one thing, he would be a monster. Whether it was the post or face-up, whatever it is. But he tries to do so much. I feel like he misses how good he could be at one thing. Like Embiid, if he just post up, he's literally unstoppable with one player guarding him. They have to. He's like Shaq in a miniature version of Shaq in a sense where you have to double team him. Like you could not stop Shaq, no matter how big or fat your guy was guarding. Teams would have a guy. When I first started, teams would have one guy on their team that would just be some slow big guy that would just be heavy that could put a body on Shaq. Yeah. I mean, they had Jake Socolides in Memphis just to guard Shaq. Scott Pollard, Jahadi White, all these guys they had, they were just so teams could have to guard Shaq. Danny Fortson, all these different guys, and none of them were bad players. If you're in the NBA, you're one of the best players in the world consistently. Right. But still, like, you have to find somebody to guard this guy Embiid one-on-one, and there isn't anybody. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but he just hasn't really proven himself more than last year and a half, maybe 2 years. I mean, what's that? People get social media ruins stuff. People fall in love with players so quick. Oh, he had 7 good games in a row. He's a monster. All right, well, Shaq had, 800 good games. He is a monster. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I want to see more of it from everybody. And listen, I mean, we can sit here and talk about this back and forth until we're blue in the face. I wasn't no superstar. I don't know how much right I had to even say half the stuff I say, but I just kind of go with what I feel, what I watch, and what I see,
That's why we love to have you.
Good players.
We love to have you here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, that whole mentality of Philly, I don't know, tanking to get picks, I don't know. I can't respect it. I just can't, man.
Yeah.
I can't respect Kevin Durant. If you can't beat him, join him. I don't know. We've talked about this before too. That bothers me, man. Like, I mean, a lot of guys could jump ship because their teams aren't winning. Like, don't do that. Go somewhere and build around you to win. Don't go somewhere where they already won a title and they don't even really need you. Like Draymond Green said, we don't even really need you. We did it without you. I mean,
You stopped playing, and I'm just reading this because you and I haven't talked about this, but you lost your father.
Yeah, because you never talked to me.
Well, you disappeared for a year.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did. I'll give you that. Yeah.
And who reached out to you to see where, like?
That's part of the reason why Oh, I know. That's part of the reason why I didn't try to play again. Was he died this summer when I was contemplating what to do.
Yeah.
And I know my mom and sister were going to need. My sister, she has 2 kids, and he was helping out a lot. And my mom and him had a good relationship, and so I just felt like everything together, and I needed a break. I just decided not to play anymore. I got a couple offers, nothing substantial, nothing really huge, and it's been just a backup role, or maybe even a bench role. But I probably could have did it again for a year or two. I don't know. Yeah. It was just too much for me, and it was a tough loss for our whole family. So, yeah.
My condolences on that. By the way, I'm just curious. So you hunt, and where does a 7-footer get hunting clothes?
Actually,
hunting
what? There's a company called Sitka. Well, a company called Sitka. They're pretty cool. They'll custom make clothes, for people. Generally, not always, but sometimes. And I was fortunate enough to be able to meet one of their guys there, and he's kind of been taking care of me. So it's been pretty cool. So I don't have a problem finding those. I used to, though. And
tell me a little bit more about the farm and what you're growing. What are you eating? Give me sort of a sense of Chris Kaman, the farmer. What's the day look like? What's your objective?
Well, no, I don't go over there every day. I got a guy who works for me, so sometimes I'm there, sometimes he's there. But there's we have our own beef. We eat grass-fed, no hormones, no steroids, no antibiotics. We have our own chickens, same thing. We have our own egg layer chickens. We have our turkeys for Thanksgiving we raise. We have cow for milk. We do goats for milk. We do, the milk. We make cheese, butter, creams, all that stuff. And we have the garden with any vegetable you can imagine. We have a nice-sized greenhouse. We can grow all year if we need to. I got pigs that we raise that are all organic, non-GMO stuff. So, and they're not like your normal, everybody thinks a pig is a pig pen. Well, we have like 5 acres of woods that we fenced all in with, a high fence, and they live in the woods, really. They forage and also supplement with non-GMO certified organic seeds and feed. So there's a lot of stuff. And then I'm in the process of making a little petting zoo kind of thing too. So
nice.
Just for my kids.
So
I want my kids to understand the meaning of hard work, and I want to raise them that way. I don't want to. It's tough. This world is tough, man. A lot of kids are face down in their phones.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. Video games and phones is just ruining these kids' lives personally. But just what I think is social media is way too popular. The Kardashians are way too popular, and for what I don't really understand. But I guess I don't get it. I don't mean to point fingers at anybody in specific, but they're super popular people that, for what reason, I don't know. And social media,
I'm with you on that one.
It's like a machine that never stops moving, and take your kid's phone away. Parents, take your kid's phone away for a freaking week and see how much more interaction you have with your child. Maybe the parents don't care either. Maybe that's part of the problem. I always think you're part of the environment as you grow.
Yeah.
But it's sad because my kid he's probably need to have a phone to get hold of his parents. But man, what do you do?
You can just get him a flip phone.
I want Snapchat. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I said. I said, kids for your birthday, I want Snapchat. I'm like, what is Snapchat? I didn't even know what that was. And then someone like my nephews are 16 and 14. They're like, oh, this is the Snapchat. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. And I feel like it just ruins these kids' lives. People's neck curve is going the opposite way of what it's supposed to because everybody's got their heads down, faces down, their video games and phones. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't go on my phone ever, but I don't do social media anymore.
So with all that, what do you aspire your kids? Because you're rather unique upbringing.
Honestly, I don't want them to know that. I can't avoid it. I don't want them to know that we're, I played in the NBA and that we made a lot of money and we're doing well. I don't want them to know that stuff. I want them just to okay, I'm a regular guy. I'm going to go work. If I don't force my kid to sports, he's only 4, but he doesn't care. He plays Legos and whatever else. I don't say, oh, here's a basketball, let's go shoot. I don't ever do that. I want him to say, oh, Dad, I want to do this. And then I can help him if he wants my help. But I don't want to force it because you see that all too much, and parents forcing their kids to do something. Their kids feel so much pressure, and they're starting these kids way too young, lifting weights. There's so much that you think that is so wrong with this nation as far as it comes to sports, and parents are wasting so much money. Your kid is not going to be in the NBA. I got news for you. 99.9% of you people in America, your kid will never, ever make it to college, let alone the NBA. So I don't know why you're wasting so much money on these parents who are trying to make their kids better, send them to these camps and these, summer programs, whatever it is, these, tournaments. It's just, you're wasting your freaking money. Let your kid play basketball, have fun, sure, but like, it just doesn't. They don't understand how hard it is to get to that level. You know.
How lucky you have to be. I mean, you have to win kind of
exactly.
You have to win the genetic lottery, and then there's all sorts of things that have to happen.
I mean, put it this way: if you look across your husband and wife, and you're together, your kids have less than a 0.01% chance of making the NBA, just by statistics only. Your kid has a way better chance if it's a single parent household than he does if it's two parents for some reason. And I don't know if that's because of where a lot of the kids come from or what, but not because there's anything wrong.
I know.
It's coming out the wrong way. But
is that a statistical? Is that you're reading a statistic and you're attaching it? I mean, is there? I don't know if there's proof.
Yeah, I'm probably not. Okay, I don't know the exact number, but if you took a poll of 450 NBA players, I bet you 60 to 70% of them have either raised by their grandmother, grandfather, or mother or father. And then the Europeans, I can't factor them in because I don't really have information on that, but I'm talking about the American-born American players. It's just how it is. And that's just the legitimate.
I get that that's how it is. I just don't know that that's necessarily a driving force in.
I'm going off my 13 years, Rick, of what I saw and who I talked to.
Right.
And that's just how it's. I'm not saying because you're married, your kids are going to be suffer. I'm just saying just because of statistics.
Yeah.
If you're married, your kids, for some reason, is less likely to be able to make it to that level. Now, there is some people that do it, but it's straight off of statistics. Nothing to do with you being married to somebody else.
Right. No,
just off the numbers is all.
My point simply is that is a statistic of the guys who are in the NBA. But is that a reason that guys make it to the NBA?
No.
Because they're in a
absolutely not.
single parent family?
No, that'd be ignorant for me to say that. I'm just saying, just statistically speaking, your kid doesn't have as much chance if you're a married couple, just based on what is there right now, what the numbers are.
Gotcha.
I mean, your kid's not going to be hurt because you're married, but he probably didn't have a chance to start with anyways.
But I will say but
that's what I just think parents. I think it's interesting. My whole point to all this whole thing is I think it's interesting how much money people waste on, and they don't know only because they're ignorant and not ignorant like they're dumb, but ignorant because they don't know what it takes to get to where the NBA level is at.
Well,
you got I just picture this suburban white family where their kid goes to all these camps and he thinks he's the best player ever, and then he goes from the suburbs to the city. And he gets a freaking rude awakening, and he just realizes how hard it's really going to be. And these parents live in these dream worlds. Oh, my kid scored 20. Well, your kid played on a terrible team, and he's the best player on a terrible team, and they lose every game. So how good are you when you score 20 on a terrible team? Not very good.
Yeah, it is. That's a whole. We could spend an entire podcast talking about that phenomenon.
Listen, Rick, this is after 3 years of college, 4 years of high school, 13 years in the NBA, multiple years of camps I did and traveling and all over the world. I mean, I've been everywhere you can imagine to play basketball, to teach basketball, to talk about basketball. And this is what I've come to. I mean, I'm not an idiot. I'm not naive. I'm not, gullible to things that I don't know. I know this. This is one thing I do know about. And I'm just telling you what it is. Don't waste money on all this extra gear. He doesn't need 85 pairs of socks to play basketball. He doesn't need $200 pair of shoes. That has nothing to do with him being a good basketball player or not, or she. It's just funny though, like when you look at it, I just get a laugh out of it.
Yeah, well, it's become an industry. Anyway. People, here's the thing.
Yeah.
There are people out there that are selling that dream. I mean, I hear it all the time in AAU. Yeah. You have to be on a particular team.
Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, all those huge companies are selling that dream. Because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
When you're spending $200 for a pair of their shoes, I'd do it too. Yeah. I mean, it's a great marketing ploy, but the reality is not. The perception is not the reality.
Yeah, indeed.
So, I got a little off tangent there. I apologize.
If we hadn't gone off tangent, if I had a conversation with you and it didn't go off tangent, I would be disappointed.
Something would be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be wondering, are you okay? Chris?
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a pleasure to talk to you again and catch up, and so glad. It sounds like everything's going great. Love that you're getting a chance to spend time with your family.
Good, man. I'm blessed. I got the kids and the wife, and everything is like I said, God's blessed me. I got no complaints, and I'm and I'm happy to be able to do what I've done and to know the people I know. And I appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you for taking the time, and let's stay in touch because the adventures of Caveman, for me,
yes, sir,
are always entertaining.
That's right. Don't forget that either.
We'll never forget that. Thank you so much for the time.
All right, Rick.
Wish you the best.
You're welcome.
Right. Thanks, bud.
All right, I'll talk to you.
That's it for this episode of Bucher and Friends, subsidiary of the United WeCast Network. Remember, you can read my stuff on Bleacher Report. You can follow me at Rick Bucher on Twitter. More importantly, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. Chris Kaman, as he noted, is not on social media, so you can't follow him, but we will bring him on from time to time to catch up because obviously very opinionated, a lot of insight, and just generally an interesting dude in all the things. You agree, disagree, he certainly has his viewpoints, and I've always appreciated his stark honesty with everything. Also, if you enjoy the show, please drop us a rating, review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Screenshot the review and tweet it to us at Bucher Friends, and you'll be entered for a chance to win some swag from Ryan, Will, or me. Speaking of Ryan Hollins will be joining me in the next podcast. We will start to look at the all-star selections, who we think are legitimate all-stars, how Ryan feels about the whole all-star process. I've got a media vote in the selection of starters, so may disclose, maybe this podcast, maybe the next one, who I see as the all-stars and who's getting my vote. All that in the next podcast. In the meantime, thanks for listening.